The introduction song to this film is titled I Will Remember, specifically chosen because, well, I choose to remember. To remember those who forged our country's existence to what it is today. The race is on to bring back to life the history of our early pioneers. Pretty soon, the opportunity to tell these stories through film will be lost forever. We currently have large government corporations locking up land and removing any form of access to these places. I believe these stories should be continued on through generations to come, but instead they'll soon be lost to the thick canopy of the forests. By this point, about 50% of you will have clicked out of this video. If you're still here, I urge you to stay, and by doing this, you'll be helping to spread this message far and wide. So why would I care about these old miners, or anyone that lived over 100 years ago? I guess because, like them, I've experienced just a small part of the life that they lived, exposed to the elements of the natural world, but also the grandeur, the beauty, and the soul-fulfilling that's only experienced when you deeply penetrate yourself in the wilderness. Deep within the rugged valleys of Tasmania's Savage River lies buried a rather rare and somewhat valuable mineral known as osmiridium. In the 1800s it was considered a nuisance because of its weight and density. It made it hard for the old miners to separate from the gold. But by the turn of the 20th century, its value was becoming fast recognised, and soon after its price climaxed that of gold at 8 times the value. The principal focus for the Ossie, as it was known, became the 19 Mile Creek area and the burnt spur of the Savage River. This spur begins its steep descent 21 miles from Waratah, dropping 250 metres into the depths of the Savage River. Around Christmas of 1913, a miner by the name of William Armstrong went to spend the holiday season down at the spur to seek his fortune. But while navigating the steep track along the river, slipped from the track and fell from a 60-foot cliff into the river below. When William hadn't been seen back at camp or down at the Godkin mine on the White River, storekeeper Herbert Osborne went in search of William and found his body lying below the cliff. Because of the steep nature of the country, the body was floated on a raft half a mile downstream and buried on a bend of the river known as Tarvise's Beach. When the value of the osmiridium started to skyrocket, a diversion tunnel was dug through the burnt spur. It was said to be 8 foot wide, 6 foot high, and ran for 115 metres right through the hill. This allowed the miners to divert the flow and allowed them to work the bedrock for the golden osmiridium. After reading the history and the remaining stories left of the area, I felt a deep urge to go and visit the spur myself, but not only that, to see if I could find that old grave and document it in film. I also wanted to see if anything was left of the diversion tunnel and any other history or relics that I could find. With a window of 3 days up my sleeve, it was time to load up the pack and head out into the west coast wilderness of Tasmania. Alright folks, this journey's begun. I'm partway in, sweating like crazy, but this is going to be one awesome adventure that I've been anticipating for a couple of years now. Got beautiful weather. The reason I've had to wait so long is the Savage River is definitely not one to mess with. Its headwaters start hundreds of kilometres up near the Bear Top Ridge in Tasmania, and they wind down with a huge catchment for all that distance. With the dry weather that I've got, I'm hoping that I can get my pack raft in and navigate it looking for the grave fairly safely, instead of going on the cliffs where William come to rest himself. So we'll get into it. I know this is going to be a good adventure. We're going to see some amazing history and some beautiful country. So this spot that I'm at now is the actual start of the burnt spur. I'm right up on the top of the ridge. It runs for 800 meters with an elevation drop of 250. So yeah, she's a pretty steep one, and it's going to be brutal coming back out tomorrow night. But yeah, it was definitely a challenge for the old timers as well coming into this area, and got to take my hat off to them for it. I've been able to pick up a track. It looks like people have been in here in the last few years. We've got some fairly recent tape here. It could be a couple of years old, but yeah, it's nice that I've got something to follow. I don't have to look at my phone too much. And really, it's just a matter of following the ridge down. I'll have to watch out for the old Joe Blake. I've had to throw the gaiters on to make sure I don't run into any trouble there, hopefully. There's a track, but it's not all that well maintained. Yeah, she's getting real steep now. Black cockatoo. We're almost there. Looks like a big flat area down underneath. Well, there's definitely some obvious landscape movements. This here's been dug, a little plateau just up here on the crest of the hill. And I can see a little trench down there, part of a workings. Created a bit of a water race for them possibly. Pretty cool, the ferns growing out of it. I'm sure you guys can see it that well. Oh wow, got our first relic. Not much left of it. It's got the flue, it kind of looks like a flue of a fireplace. Might have been a little hut sitting just here. Very flat location for it. I'm earlier here than what I expected to be. I was going to leave the grave hunt for tomorrow, but with this beautiful sunny weather and plenty of time, I'm feeling like I go for it this morning. It's just before lunch. We've got plenty of daylight this time of year. Man, the mozzies are getting me though. This place is infested. I didn't bring any bug spray either. You can just get a glimpse of the river now. Nice and low. Beautiful, mighty savage river. The raft's going to give me the opportunity to use the river and access down, hopefully on the search for the grave, rather than going along the cliffs where William fell to his death. A lot safer and it would be cool to try and find the old track, but I don't think I should be poking around up there with what happens. So we'll do it the safe way. We're lucky to have these modern day luxuries of having a raft, and I can just work my way downstream. Alright, so here's what we've got. I know from the Trove newspaper article that was written back when he passed away that the body was found a mile up from the Rio Tinto Bridge. Now, the Rio Tinto Bridge was consumed by the modern day Savage River mine, which is all the white there that you can see. So I've marked it up to about a mile, and that does put us on some really steep topography and cliffs. And it said that the body was found below cliffs about 60 foot high from the track. So this will be the hot zone for knowing where he slipped. Now, once they went in with the coffin and went to bury him, they took him half a mile downstream in a raft to a place called Tarvise's Beach, which I've marked out as possibly being this area here. The other possibility is there's a creek named Armstrong Creek, which I'm guessing was named after him, and possibly the little beach where the creek meets the Savage River. I'm hoping that it's either a beach there on the corner of Armstrong Creek, or, as they stated, half a mile downstream from where he slipped. Alright, this is Armstrong Creek just here, and if there was ever a beach, I guess, looking at that, Tarvise's Beach, it's a bit of an elevated bit just up there. I'm going to get out and have a look here. This could be it. It could be that simple, but it usually never is. Can see where the floods have washed gravel right up here. It's been a lot of years since it's washed up there though. There's so many possibilities, like they could have literally just taken him upstream a little bit. He'll be up on one of the beaches up in there. This would be a beautiful little spot, but it's just so low to the river, and when the river gets in flood, they would have known surely that it would just wash the gravestone away. Tarvise's beach. It's bound to be someone in Tassie that knows more about this than me. So if you guys know, let me know. I'll certainly come back if I don't find this thing. Geographically, the newspaper article said that he was half a mile downstream from where he fell, so that wouldn't put us on this creek. But no doubt this creek, Armstrong Creek, it's got to be named after him. And this is a beautiful beach, so Tarvise's beach could be this. And that's why we've had to look here, but nothing that I can see immediately here. We might go later this afternoon if I don't find anything. Might go for a little walk up this creek and have a look. See you later, Armstrong Creek. Alright, we've got our first log jam. It's always one, at least. Massive landslide. Cleared a path all the way down the hill through the trees. Knocked out everything in its way. Okay, we're in the zone of where the steep country is, according to the map. I've got a feeling this could be the location that he fell. It fits the description. The track could have very well been 60 odd foot up that bank there. There's a huge big boulder just there with a drop, and then it's all bedrock and rocks all the way to the bottom. And very, very steep. It doesn't really show it on the camera because of the vegetation, but in amongst there, that's all cliff face going right up. And it fits the description of the beach downstream. We're half a mile from that location upstream here. Poor fella, very well could be the old track up there, 60 odd foot. He was clenching ferns to get around the track. It was in that poor a condition, and they found ferns with the body down below and a clear path of where he'd obviously fallen. That could be it. So half a mile downstream from here could have been his final resting place. So we'll continue on. I mean, look at this country, like, look how steep and high that is. And he's fallen down into the river here somewhere. There's no way they could have came up this river in winter. It would just be absolutely raging, so they had to scurry their way around the cliff faces to get from the Rio Tinto mine back up this way, up to the burnt spur where the Osmiridium was dug. Looking at this rock wall here, it's quite unique. It's not alluvial rock. It's all really coarse. It looks like it's been hand stacked, but I don't think so. I've just jumped out. I spotted a flat section of ground just up here in the forest, and you can see all this rock that I was talking about earlier. That's all been, looks like it's been hand stacked, but it's just the way it is from the river. It's obviously had a massive landslide at some stage and collected like that. But we'll go have a look up there, because it's almost like this could be Tarvise's beach. It certainly would fit the description, just the way all this unusual rock is sitting, so it's worth checking up here. Oh man, maybe it is hand stacked. I've just found a big, what looks like workings here. Yeah, that's definitely, it's not from the flow of the river. It's real flat just here, and then there's stackings of old workings and rock just there. So maybe that is old workings down at river level. The last floods just pushed it out. Yeah, this has definitely been stacked by hand, all of this. Here's what we're looking for. One photograph. They went to so much work bringing that headstone down. It's so ornate, a lot of detail. He's obviously cared about to go to that much work bringing that down to a place like this, as well as the coffin itself. I'm only on that corner there, so if he fell from that point there, or if he fell from where I am here where it's steep on the other side, a half mile, it has to be, the gravesite has to be down here where I've marked, and that would fit the description of a beach if there's the gravels and it looks like it, you know. So let's keep going. I've just come into this spot here. There's another flat section along the side of the river. I'm going to have a look at all the areas that are flat like this, and yeah, it kind of eliminates any chance of me missing him, I guess. I just think spots like this though are probably not quite elevated enough. Righto, back to the raft. I've reached where I think the Tarvise's beach area would have been. You can't see it from here, but well, you can see a little bit down there. There's a nice beachy section, and you'll see it just a bit later on both sides of the rivers. There's really big gravel beds, and I'm fairly certain that it would be somewhere around here. There's plenty of spots that are elevated to bury him as well, and the soil, like a lot of the spots that I looked upstream, it was just hard rock and it'd be hard to dig a grave. So I'm sure they would have opted for this alluvial flat down here, and it would have been a potential easy dig for them to get the grave dug out and have him buried. All this up here is just like peat moss and soil, so it could be anywhere along here. You can well and truly hear the mining going on in the background, not far from the Savage River mine now. Yeah, look at this for a beach. Take his back out to the river. It's huge. Where would they have put him? This would be the perfect spot. This is elevated. It's in the right spot. wasteland through this bit. But it's this is like a little hill or knoll on the side of the river here. This would be the perfect spot. It's just opposite all the beaches on the other side. This could be it. This is like honestly my best chance. Could it be somewhere in here? Yeah, look, that's out of the water line. That's a good, I don't know, 6-7 meters down there. This is all big flat ground. I've given this ground a good look, but unfortunately haven't come up with anything other than old mine works and a track. But I'm fairly confident this would be the spot, just because it's elevated, the beach below fits the description. Surely. Here we go. What have we got here? This will be my last chance. Last bit of ground sort of along this section of the river. And it's in the flood zone. It's all a bit disappointing really, but man, beautiful place, can't complain too much. Just reading back through the newspaper report just to double check I haven't missed anything. Savage River fatality, man's 60 feet fall, it says. An inquest was held at the courthouse, Waratah, on Wednesday by Mr. Coroner Jones regarding the death of a William Armstrong, who was found dead in the Savage River last Saturday. He saw the body of William J. Armstrong lying in the Savage River between two logs about a mile above the Rio Tinto Bridge. It was at the foot of a very steep cliff. The track along the cliff was about 60 foot above the river. Near the track he noticed some ferns had been broken. At the foot of the cliff there was a rocky ledge. At one raft was constructed on which the body was secured and floated down the river a distance of about half a mile to Tarvise's beach. It was then placed in a coffin and buried. Half a mile. And if the Rio Tinto Bridge was in the open cut of the Savage River, the location of the Savage River mine currently, then a mile up puts you at this point here exactly. Let's say that Rio Tinto Bridge was about there on the Savage mine. Let's hope I've got this right. Puts it, that's just a bit down there on the corner, a little bit further down, but it depends where on the open cut mine the bridge was actually located. It might have been further up or it might have been further down, but looking at the topography where I am right now is steep. As I said before, there's another steep section through here as well. Still making my way back up, starting to get a bit late. Righto, so I'm back at Armstrong Creek where I was earlier today. I'm just going to double check that it's not up in here somewhere. I mean, you don't name a creek after someone unless there's some significance, and I guess they paid a tribute by doing that, but whether the grave's here, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Strange dig out. No, it's been axed here, look. Yeah. It's been chopped by him a long time ago. Right, on the other side, there's been a big flood and all this timber here is pushed right up into this location, but up on top here, all this rock here looks like it's all been stacked up, and there's a distinct rectangular shape, and look at how all these little laurels have grown over the top. Oh, just collapsed under me. Could it be? Oh, just got goosebumps big time. I literally just, my foot just collapsed down in there. It's pretty elevated. There's the photograph again. I'll get a better shot of it up on the screen for you. Well, it's time to say goodbye to this creek, as beautiful as it is, and without finding anything. Well, we found something, but I don't know, it's a long shot. Need something a bit more solid than that, like some crosscut saws or something. Done her job for the day, but unfortunately we didn't find what we were looking for. Tomorrow we got plenty to explore. We're going to go looking for the old tunnel that runs through the hill where they diverted the river water, and we'll just see what other relics and things we might be able to find. There's something I forgot to use today. Brought it in but forgot to put it on. The river was very tame though today, so not a great deal of risk. Salad and meat tonight. Hopefully it hasn't gone too festy. It's been a warm day. They're just rissoles, 3 rissoles. I'm going to fry them up with jet boil. A trusty little pan. Smell it already. Getting close. Turned it into mince, but it's cooking nicely now. The oil's coming out of it. Perfect. Yum. Got a bit of salad to go with it. Should eat like this more when I'm prospecting. Usually just throw the salad on top. Make a big mess. And these scissors. This is just one of those pre-packaged salad kits. Smother it in fat and sugar and preservatives. I really gave it a good look. I filmed so much searching for it, but I'm only going to be putting a fraction of it in this film, so I spent most of the day looking without a bit more info and a bit more research, and whether there's even any more information on it. Certainly fun trying though. So tomorrow I want to go look for the diversion tunnel. I'm actually camped not too far away from where it's supposed to be, so really hoping that it's still there and it hasn't washed away. We had a massive flood in 2016, and there's a good chance that it may have done the last damage to it. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow we can find something left of it. The mosquitoes are absolutely smashing me tonight, so I think I'm going to have an early night, jump in the tent. Might do a bit of reading on my phone and yeah, call it a day. And I'll see you guys in the morning. All right. Get up, Levi. Okay, got all my gear packed away, just about to start heading out. I think first up I'm going to go and look at the old workings and just have a good look about them. After that, my main object for today I think is to find the old tunnel that ran right through the hill. Run a good 100 metres through the hill, which was a mammoth feat of engineering for those old guys, and they diverted the water of the Savage River through that tunnel. So yeah, we'll get started. Hopefully we find a few cool things, and it's a good day. I love how it's nice and open down here. You can walk through. Yeah, okay, so this is where it starts, I think. A huge big excavation here. These excavations are not far from where I camped. I've just left my pack over where I camped so I can walk around light. I'm going to scour this whole western side of the hill and just see what I can find. The old rock stacking. It's funny, you know, this is so elevated above the river here. I'm not sure if it's just a water race or whether they were working for the Osmiridium right up here in the hills. I was here yesterday. You can see just how far that is down there. It's a long way down. It's hard to imagine it would have been up here, but maybe they found it in the hard rock as well. Huge amount of work. This is another big trench. Look at the size of this dig out here. If I was to jump down there, Gives a bit of perspective. It's good 7 or 8 foot tall right through. I'd just love to have been here and see it all take place, or just be able to flash back and see it all take place. Be incredible, wouldn't it? Another huge big trench here. Little sassafras growing out of it. Not sure if it's ended just here or not. There's a bit more just here. Dug out of the side of the steep hill. Go as far as I can without killing myself. Oh wow, there's a shaft here. It's not all that deep, but a little square cut shaft. Probably testing to see whether they did need to go this way. Alright, so I've explored as much of the workings as I could find, and yeah, there wasn't much more to see other than a lot of rock stackings and just the trenches and a couple of shafts. But yeah, it's time to go and find this tunnel that runs through the hill. Somewhere along this western side of the hill. This was camp, and it's actually meant to be very close to camp, according to the map. This is a map, just a basic map that Lindsay Gray drew up after she'd been here, that I'm going by, so it's a really good reference because it's been pretty accurate so far for everything that I've found. This film wouldn't have been made possible without the help from Lindsay Gray. Lindsay visited the Burnt Spur in 2012 and wrote a small publication on the history of the Burnt Spur. The other person I quickly need to acknowledge is Nick Haygarth, a local historian and writer of multiple books and publications. Nick's book On the Aussie has been an invaluable resource for this film. I'll leave a link to Nick's website below. This film is in no way sponsored or endorsed by Nick, but I thought it wouldn't be fair to not mention both Nick and Lindsay in this film. Just following the contour down at the base of the hill, because obviously it's going to be sitting somewhere at water level. I just spotted this here. I don't know, what have we got here? Is that it? Oh no. Could that be it? That's sad if it is, because I mean there's a little crack in there, but it's not much more than a wombat's. Well, it's less than a wombat's hole. Oh, I'm a bit disappointed if that's it. Surely not. It would be in the right spot. It's, the workings are literally just over here. It's all been cut out, but I don't know, like it could just be part of the workings or something. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh, it's still here. It's full of water. There's not much left of it. That'd be it. Oh, I'm so glad it's here. Woo! Woo! You can hear it goes right up in there. Oh, there's some bad gas coming out of that. That stinks. Oh. Wow. It survived. It's stepped back from the river a fair way. The river's probably 50 metres back there. Oh, I'm so glad it's still here. That's awesome. Oh, it's a death trap. That's her. It's crazy. There you go, bit of a view of it. Amazing. Guys working here 110 odd years ago, digging this out, trying to make their fortune. That's so cool. That's good. I actually found something that I really wanted to find. I mean, I would have loved that grave, but it might require another mission and a bit more research. You can see the light up the top of the hill there. That's the actual top of the burnt spur. And this ran 100 metres straight through to the other side. I'm going to go around to the other side as well. We'll mark this on the GPS and we'll just run a straight line straight through and see if we can find an entrance on the other side. Which means I'm going to have to lug this pack back up to the top of the hill. Alright, back up at the top. Whew. Oh man, that's really steep on that eastern side of the hill. So probably, yeah, that drops straight down. So what I'm going to have to do is go to the end of the spur on the northern tip, and then I'll work my way around to find the tunnel on this side. Hopefully it's all not in vain. Alright, I'm going to drop the pack here. I'll locate it, put it on the GPS for the walk back up. I better get some water too for my walk out later today. I'm just dropping down the end of the spur now, but it's turned into an absolute mess. Story of my life. Go back up again. Try a different point down. Steep. Might be doable. Back on the river. Still on the northern tip of the spur though. Kind of recognise this spot I think from one of the old photographs. Just cool down a bit and I'll have a look at some of these old pictures. I'm sure that this spot looks like one of the shots in the photograph I've seen. I'm just wondering if this corner here could be this photo here. To me it kind of looks like the same bend in the river. This is right at the end of the spur, so those guys, their workings is just buried under all that flooded timber and debris over there. I reckon old Hookey Jack got stuck into this bedrock back in the day. John Baptiste, also known as Hookey Jack, had a hook for his right hand. He was a Portuguese prospector who chased gold all over the world, from the Klondike in northern Canada to the hot regions of Coolgardie in Western Australia, as well as the Midda River in Victoria. After all of this, he came to Tasmania to prospect for the Osmiridium. He was said to have sluiced gold better than any other prospector on the Midda River, despite having a disadvantage with a hook for a right arm. All John's tools had holes drilled through them to enable him to use his hook. I met him many years ago, old-timer Hookey Jack. He tramped in with the pack string on the Savage River track. He was no doubt the strangest man you'd meet in all the land. He swore he'd rather have his hook than have a human hand. In truth I soon saw clearly, 'twas no handicap to him. He used the pick and shovel and could swing the Douglas too, and handle heavy timber just as well as I could do. Really want to get round that other side. Certainly no easy task. It's not what I thought it was. It's this country's scrub's a lot thicker than I was expecting, and the tip of this spur is a lot steeper, and she's just all thick vegetation. Bit better going. Okay, so should literally just be up here somewhere, just up on this bend. Just massive cliff face up in there, just a big slab of rock going straight up. They would have had their digging if it was through here. Why am I not seeing it? It has to be just through here somewhere. Maybe up in here. It looks like there's been a big collapse or landslide. This is what it looked like on this side of the spur. You can see the dam wall there that they built, and then the tunnel there at the background. But I can't see it. There's nothing left of it. Which is kind of strange, because this whole section of the spur, like this wall, is just all rock. Unless I'm not far enough up yet. Well, I've gone kind of past now and I haven't seen it. There's a massive landslide just here though. Is it possible that they put it on an angle like that? It amazes me how they knew which direction to dig when they were down there. That could be it there, in behind all that. There's a huge landslide, trees and everything. Yeah, I reckon this was it, just here. But, unfortunately, it looks like it's all collapsed. Yeah, there's a whole heap of rock here that's been hand stacked from the side, so the entrance, potentially, just under all this rubble here. Yeah, it makes sense. There's a huge wet area down underneath, the same as on the other side. Well, that's a shame. It's buried. I've just jumped down off that log, and here's another good sign. This has been cut by hand. Could have been used as part of the bridge to divert the water. And literally on the other side, so I was over there was a rock stacking on that side, and just here it's the same again. This has all been hand stacked. There's a whole bunch of rocks in here. Yeah, it totally makes sense for it to be up in there. All these logs and things it's just debris probably from the bridge that they built, and it's all got caught here in the floods. It's not like it downstream, it's all cleared out. You can see all the rock face really well. So the tunnel itself went through the hill on a little bit of an angle, and I guess it would have allowed for them to work more of this bedrock through here. Makes sense anyway. What do you reckon? Guess the tunnel gave them good access for walking through from one side to the other as well, when I think about it. Because this is hard work. In case you're wondering, I have got my EPIRB tucked away in my pocket there. I wouldn't have done this without that. It's lucky there's a bit of vegetation to hang on to. Hello pack, did you miss me? Alright. Alright, we'll go up to the main camp area now and check out around there. Little bottle stack. These are different to the ones before. Little teapot that's lost its handle and its nozzle. I'll down my pack here and we'll go for a bit of an explore, see what relics we can find and see what relics we can find, and then we might call it a day. Make the big journey back out. Leather boot, no doubt. Put it all together, there's another piece there. There's not much left of this place. 110 years, like there were huts, houses and all sorts of industry down here, and yet 110 years you barely find anything. Just a couple of half boots, leather boots, and a couple of rusty old pickaxes. Look at that thing. We've got the lower camp down here. I'm just going to drop in down this end and go have a look down in there. It's the upper bit there. Yeah, there's not much down here that I can see. Once upon a time I think there was an old workshop down here. Might have had all their tools and things like that. Probably a fireplace, kiln, maybe some blacksmithing, who knows. There we go. Another bottle. Rosella Preserves Melbourne. There's a little Rosella logo right in the centre of it. Yeah, okay. Looks like we've got some workings here on the lower camp on this side as well. This has all been, looks like it's all been stacked up and dug right out, right through here. Yeah, so this whole area, right through, right back in over there, has all been worked. It's cool because there's nothing written about this. We may have found something new. The lower camp's just up in there. Kind of makes sense why they would have camped down the hill so far. Or at least had a workshop or whatever. Alright, I've had a really good look around down on that eastern side. I haven't found much else other than those new workings, which was kind of cool. It's awesome that the tunnel still exists on the western side, and we kind of know the location. I'm pretty sure that's where it must have come out, and unfortunately a landslide's hit it. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Every now and again I like to do a little bit of history, and it's nice not to be in the wetsuit for a change. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like for me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you've got anyone you think you know that might enjoy this video, share it with them. And until the next one, happy hunting, and we'll see you all then.